The Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the NFL game review. Everything you need to know. Who's in, who's out, and game action. So, the Steelers and the Ravens. They both have a lengthy list of injured players heading into this game. On Friday, I'm going to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers side of the ball. Presley Harvin, with a hamstring injury, their punter, did not practice all week, and he more than likely will be out of the game. Quarterback Kenny Pickett, who dealt with that knee injury after getting rolled up on that 4th and 1 terrible play call, he practiced in full with a knee injury. Najee Harris with a hamstring injury, he was limited. Cole Holcomb with a back injury, he was a full participant. Alex Highsmith with a groin injury, he was limited. Offensive lineman Dan Moore with a knee injury did not practice. Chuks Okorafor with an elbow injury, full participant. Offensive lineman James Daniels with a groin injury did not practice. Tight end Pat Freiermuth with a hamstring injury did not practice. And DeMarvin Leal with a concussion did not practice. So that was who practiced and who didn't for Friday. And the Steelers revealed the actual game status of those players. So Presley Harvin, he's actually out of the game. Alex Highsmith, he said that he's 100% going to be playing this game, even though he's listed as questionable on the game status sheet. He said he will be playing, so expect him to be out there. Offensive lineman Dan Moore Jr., he was already ruled out by Mike Tomlin on Tuesday, and he's officially out. James Daniels, he was not ruled out earlier in the week, but he now has been ruled out officially with a groin injury. Pat Freiermuth, he was expected to be missing 2 to 3 weeks, and he's officially ruled out. And DeMarvin Leal, with a concussion, even though he was a limited participant during the week, he did not practice on Friday and is officially out for the game. So that's the Steelers' injury report for this upcoming matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. Looking at the Ravens side of things and who's injured on their side of the ball, let me just go through their injuries. Cornerback Amaru Davis with a hamstring injury, full participant. Wide receiver Rashud Bateman with a hamstring injury, full participant. Odell Beckham Jr. with an ankle injury, he was limited, but he's expected to play this game per reports. Running back Justice Hill with a foot and hamstring injury, he was limited. Marlon Humphrey with a foot injury, limited. Tackle Morgan Moses with a shoulder injury, he was limited. Outside linebacker Odafe Awuyi with an ankle injury, did not practice. Ronnie Staley, tackle, with a knee injury, full participant. Safety Marcus Williams with a pectoral injury, he was a full participant. And safety Daryl Worley with a shoulder injury did not practice. So that's who practiced and who didn't, and the injury report for the Ravens. They didn't list the actual people game status for their team yet, but if I had to guess, the only people who would miss this game are the people who did not practice. Outside linebacker Odafe Awuyi and Daryl Worley. Everyone else, like Marlon Humphrey, Morgan Moses, even though they were limited, they would be listed as questionable, but they more than likely will play. And the others who participate in full, they will play as well. So that's the injury report for the Ravens side of the ball. And this game will be taking place at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, and it will be a home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The first 2 games of the regular season, the Steelers were at home, but then the last 2 games of the Steelers, they were actually away. So now they return to Pittsburgh, and if the offense continues to stall out, expect a boos and fire Matt Canada chants from the crowd. The Steelers come into this game with a 2-2 record, and the Ravens, they come into this game with a 3-1 record. So the Ravens, they were at home their first game of the regular season versus the Texans. And then the second game, they're on the road. And then the third game, they're at home. So last week, they're away. So it seems like they've been alternating every single week, whether they're home or away. And now they come into Pittsburgh. So the Steelers versus the Ravens. That's the injury report side of things. But now let me just talk about the game specifically, the football that's being played on the field. And once again, I'm going to start with the Steelers. So talking about the Steelers offense. They've really struggled against the Texans, and not even just the Texans. They've been struggling this whole season thus far. Yes, people like to look at that Raiders game and look at their offense and say it played so much better, but without that long play to Calvin Austin, they really only had one good drive of the whole game, which was a Pat Freiermuth touchdown drive. So I do not believe they played any good football on offense thus far this season. So hopefully this game against the Ravens, they're able to play much better. We all know the Ravens week is always a tough matchup because it's AFC North ball, but these two teams are so used to each other. Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh has always been a tough matchup, and they always go head to head against each other and been doing it for a long time. The Steelers offense, they're going to run the ball against the Ravens, I believe, this week more because Kenny Pickett is banged up with that knee injury, with a bone bruise in his knee, and he has a brace on his knee throughout practice. He will be playing, but he was wearing a brace on his knee this week during practice. So I believe they're going to try to pound the rock with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren even more, but it's always hard to run the ball against the Ravens. So they're going to have to find other ways to move off of that if it doesn't work. Maybe some play action. Get Kenny Pickett a little bit to the scramble because that's where he throws his best. He's not much of a pocket passer as of just yet. He's more of a passer on the move. So hopefully they're able to get him on the move even though he might be limping with his knee. But that's what their offense is going to look like. The defense. Last week, the whole team struggled against the Texans. It wasn't just the offense who struggled. The defense also struggled. They couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop the pass. They allowed 5 yards open at least every single time they threw to a wide receiver. Their cornerbacks did very terrible. Their defensive linemen did very terrible. 0 pass rush, 0 sacks in the game. So hopefully this week TJ Watt's able to bounce back and get more sacks on the quarterback and be on the tear that he had the first 3 games of the season. He was on a good pace, but last week he had 0. Alex Highsmith had 0, but hopefully now the pass rush is able to actually get to the quarterback. Usually against the Ravens, because Lamar Jackson does like to scramble, the defense is able to play better towards the run and towards the pass rush and get more sacks because Lamar Jackson's always on the move. So we all know the Ravens love to run the football. So that's what you have to watch out for. Run the ball. But it's not just running the ball with the running backs. Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback. That's what he wants to do first. His first option is usually run the ball. So you have to look at this and realize Lamar Jackson is going to run the football. But he just doesn't do it on the outsides. We've seen many times where it's a QB draw or just a QB power where he runs it straight up the middle. So you can't just be aware of him running towards the outside and put a QB spy on him. You have to be aware of him running straight up the middle. And that's actually over the last few years, that's what he's done most and has been most successful. Running up the middle, not towards the outside. So the Steelers, be aware of that. The Steelers have a kind of a depleted defensive lineman. All of them are really injured. The only other person who's really not injured is TJ Watt. So hopefully the Steelers defense is able to step up. Looking at the Baltimore Ravens side of things, if I was them, what I would do is I would run the football until you can't run it no more. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And then take shots at the cornerbacks because that's the Steelers' weakest part of their team. Go against Levi Wallace, go against Patrick Peterson, and make them cover you. Because the past few weeks, this whole season, they've not been able to cover anyone. They gave up close to 200 yards to Devontae Adams. Nico Collins went off for like 150 plus. So make them guard you, but also run the ball as much as you could. That's what I would do if I was the Ravens. So the defense side of the ball for the Ravens. They've been always a good run defense type of team, so they really sound and make their team on their defense. Their cornerbacks are good. They're not as great as in previous years, but Marlon Humphrey coming back does help out a little bit. But that defense is always tough for the Steelers, and it's always a tough game. So this game is going to be very close. It always comes down to the wire. There's always turnovers in this game, whether Lamar Jackson gets intercepted or he fumbles the ball or Kenny Pickett throws an interception. So this is going to be a very close game. And my prediction for this game, I need to see Steelers do something before I can make them have a win. I predicted Steelers to win the last 4 weeks, but this week I just don't see a way where I could predict them winning. So I'm going to have the Ravens winning this week. Even though I think the Steelers could bounce back, I need to see it before I predict it. So I believe the Ravens will win this game. But let me know down in the comments below how you believe this game will go, your thoughts on the injury report, your thoughts on everything that I just explained from an offense and defense perspective from both teams, and give me your keys to the game for the Steelers, or if you're a Ravens fan, give me your keys to the game for the Ravens. Let me know down in the comments below. And also, give your prediction on who you think will win the game. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers football, and I make videos every day. So stay tuned with notifications on. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.